All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're talking about something pretty wild, Perplexity's Comet. This isn't just another browser. No, this one wants to completely upend how we use the internet. I mean, imagine a browser that doesn't just show you stuff, but actually does stuff for you. That's the big idea, right? An AI assistant baked right into the very fabric of how you browse. So you might be hearing this term thrown around a lot, agentic browser. What in the world does that even mean? Well, think about it like this. Right now, if you want to book a trip, what do? You open like a dozen tabs, right? One for flights, one for hotels, another for rental cars. It's a mess. With an agentic browser, the idea is you just give it a single command. Something like, hey, book me a cheap weekend trip to San Diego next month. And poof, it goes out and does all that legwork for you. It finds the deals, fills out the forms, the whole shebang. That's the dream anyway.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the promise. What is Perplexity even trying to do here? Well, their big pitch starts with a pretty bold claim. The internet today? It's kind of a mess. It's just clogged with ads, SEO spam, and junk you have to wade through. Comet is supposed to be the answer, the thing that just slices right through all that noise to get you what you actually want.
And look, the vision here is, well, it's incredibly ambitious. We're not just talking about making your personal browsing a little easier. The CEO, Aravind Srinivas, is basically suggesting that Comet could change the workforce itself, that companies could use this to automate complex jobs, maybe even replace human workers. I mean, wow, that is a huge claim to make for a web browser.
So, to really get this, you have to understand where Perplexity came from. They started out as what's called an answer engine. You'd ask it a complicated question, and it would spit back a nice, clean, summarized answer. Super useful. But with Comet, they're making this giant leap. They're going from being an answer engine to an action engine. It's like going from a librarian who finds the right book for you to a personal assistant who not only finds the book but also runs to the store and buys it for you. It's a total game changer, strategically speaking.
All right, but here's where the story kind of hits a wall, because there's a massive gap between that shiny promise and what people are actually experiencing right now. The reality of having an AI agent running around the web for you, turns out it's a lot messier than it sounds on paper.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The expectation versus the reality. You think you're going to get an AI that seamlessly builds a shopping cart for you. But what users are actually reporting? The AI gets stuck in a loop, just asking for confirmation over and over without ever actually doing anything. You think it's going to fill out job applications for you, but then it just starts making up details when it doesn't know an answer. That's not just unhelpful, that's actively bad.
And it gets worse. It's not just a fancy, futuristic AI stuff that's failing. People are saying the basic, core job of being a browser is just not good. They're calling it slow, laggy, bloated. Pages apparently load way slower than on Chrome. And it's missing really basic features we all expect, like syncing your tabs and history across your phone and computer. I mean, come on. Before you can be a revolutionary AI assistant, you gotta be a good browser, right?
Okay, let's pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture here. Because this isn't just about one company's buggy product. What's happening is that Comet is basically firing the starting pistol on a brand new fight for the future of the web, what people are already calling the AI browser wars.
And, well, this chart really shows you the mountain they have to climb. Comet isn't just stepping into an open field, it's stepping into a ring with an 800-pound gorilla. That gorilla is Google Chrome, holding down a mind-boggling 72% of the market. Trying to take on that kind of dominance, it's not just a challenge, it's a nearly impossible task. So this table breaks down the battlefield perfectly. It's basically a four-way showdown, and everyone's got a different game plan. You've got Perplexity's Comet, which is the pure-play, all-in on agents contender. Then you have the giant, Chrome, which can just push its Gemini AI to billions of users overnight. Don't forget Microsoft Edge, which has the home field advantage by being baked into Windows and Office. And then you have the scrappy upstarts like Dia Browser, trying to completely reinvent what a browser even looks like. It's fascinating. But you know, all the talk about features and performance, it might not even be the biggest problem, because something much, much deeper has come to light, an issue that strikes right at the core of this whole agentic browser idea, and that is a fundamental problem with security and trust.
So the researchers have found this terrifying vulnerability they're calling CometJacking, and this isn't some simple bug. It's way more clever than that. Here's how it works. A bad guy hides a malicious command in the code of a web page somewhere you'd never see it. Then you, the user, innocently ask Comet to, say, summarize the page for you. The AI, trying to be helpful, reads everything on the page, including that hidden malicious prompt, and then it can execute that prompt. What does that mean? It could potentially get access to your other open tabs. Yeah, like your Gmail. It's a huge problem. And this is not just some theoretical what-if scenario. No, research is suggesting that these new AI browsers are up to 85% more vulnerable to phishing attacks than good old Chrome. Let that sink in. 85%. That's because you can trick an AI in ways you just can't trick a savvy human. It's an absolutely massive security hole. And to make the trust issue even worse, there's this contradiction. On one hand, Perplexity is talking a big game about being privacy first. But on the other hand, the CEO has openly said that the long-term plan is to use all your browsing data to sell hyper-personalized ads. You can't really have it both ways, right? It sends a really mixed message and makes it tough for anyone to hand over the keys to their entire digital life.
Okay, so where does that leave us? You've got this incredible, world-changing promise on one side, and these deep, frankly scary, problems on the other. So what's the final call on Comet? Is this really the future? Or is it going to end up as just a footnote in internet history? If Comet is going to have any chance of succeeding, it has a massive to-do list. And it's a tough one. First, they have to fix the basics. Just to make it a fast, stable browser that people actually want to use. That's table stakes. Second, those flashy agentic features, they have to work flawlessly. We're talking like over 95% reliability. Anything less is just a frustrating toy. And third, they have to do all of that while somehow rebuilding trust with users, which might be the hardest part of all.
And really, this whole thing leaves us with a much bigger question, one that goes way beyond just Comet. It's about the future of the internet itself. Are we ready for AI agents that act on our behalf? The idea is so powerful, so compelling, but is the security risk just too great right now? It really makes you wonder if we can solve these huge trust issues before this kind of technology is everywhere. What do you think?